Hindi po matutuloy. Sana po. Tamang-tama po ang ating SHOF team, Judges. Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 18, hanggang 21, verse 9. You shall appoint judges and officers in all your towns, so that the Lord your God, the towns of the Lord your God is giving you, according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not pervert justice. Katulad ng ginagawa ngayon ng much of Western culture, from LGBT towards the campaign of the UN for carbon footprints and all that. No? They're trying to pervert justice using justice for the interest lamang ng mga nakatataas. You shall not show partiality. So tamang-tama po ito. And we have witnessed how many times how people have perverted justice at sa modelo from Western, maging naman sa Pilipinas ay nangyayari po ito. Kaya po, isang example niyan ng pag-pervert ng justice, yung pagpipilit sa ating mga empleyado at mga even Christians and churchgoers and people like us, no believers, to use gender pronouns dahil mag-align daw sa mga policies ng gender pronouns. Halimbawa niyan ay kung may trans male ako na student, iko-compel ako ng university to use the pronoun na she, that she is a woman. If she identifies her gender as a woman, then I should completely address her as a woman. I cannot deny. Yung ganun, no? And they call that freedom. They call that justice. Pero that's a violation nga ng the First Amendment at Bill of Rights. At syempre, violation ng ating principles of the kingdom, the Torah mindset. So gender pronoun policies generally require people to use students or employees' preferred pronouns. Katulad na nabanggit ko kanina po. The policies are designed to prohibit discrimination, no? Para walang discrimination. Except, of course, when you're a Bible-believing Messianic or Christian, you're the only one who gets discriminated and everybody else is happy when you're the one who is set aside. And to promote human dignity. In what sense? Kasi nga, magkaiba daw yung sex sa gender. Mamaya ko ipapaliwanag ko. At ipapaliwanag ko rin kung sino nagpo-promote ng mga ganitong ideya para maintindihan natin. Para po, pag nalaman ninyo, you are well equipped. And then, malaman ninyo kung saan nanggaling yan. At questionable po ang origins at beginnings sa mga yan. So, ginagawa ko po ito for the sake of archaeological and genealogical research. Kasi kung science mo, philosophy pag-uusapan, then, kung dyan naman tayo magaling, tukuyin natin yung mga origins dito at all those origins are questionable. Akala mo siyensya ito, pero teorya lang pala to. At hindi nag-succeed yung mga eksperimento para patunayan na maging siyensya siya. Okay, mamaya po, balikan natin yun. The Human Rights Campaign has said using a person's chosen name and pronoun is essential to affirming their identity. Human rights, ano pa to? Advocacy pa. Those who belong to the human rights, part daw ito ng human rights. Uunahin pa nila yung problema ng to kaysa pakainin yung mga tao sa maralit ng mga part ng mundo na hindi kumakain at 3 beses ng araw. Tulad ng mga parte sa Pilipinas. Okay, this is how the university today tries to distinguish, draw a line between sex and gender. Yung pong sex na tinatawag, yun yung biological characteristic mo, the physical characteristic when you were born daw. Actually, yung sex is not assigned at birth. Kinurek tayo ni Dr. Grossman doon. Ito is a sign at conception when the Lord has given you your biological sex already at pag na-form na yun sa womb ng mother. Then that's the start ng having a biological sex, XY or XX, male or female. At birth, it becomes more evident because the doctor will tell you it's a boy or it's a girl. That's the sex. Okay? Biological. Male, female, pero may inimbento po yung mga doktor noong mga 1960s. Kabilang na dyan si Dr. John William Money daw, na mayroong intersex meron yung undetermined na kapag ka daw nakita mo doon kung hindi mo alam kung hermaphrodite yan or whatsoever, hindi mo matukoy kung siya ay male or female. Pero basically, under normal conditions, it's either male or female, which is determined also by your chromosomes, by your sex organ, and your hormones. So, magkaiba po yan doon sa tinatawag na gender or gender identity. Because your biological characteristic daw is something given by nature. And nothing can change that. There's nothing that you can do about it. If you have a male organ or a female organ, there's nothing you can do about it. But your gender po, there's something that you can do about. Because that is socially constructed. That's malleable, according to them. Or according to John Money's paradigm, and then later on, how it developed into the sa language ng ng LGBT culture. So, it's socially constructed. You can invent it. Kasi ito daw ay nakabase sa kung yung Greek idea po ng division between mind and soul or mind and then body. Yung daw mind or soul mo yung responsible for you being human. Sa Hebraic kasi parehas it's both the physical and the spiritual. Pero kung yung Greek mindset, kung soul or mind yan, mag-determine ng pagkatao mo, then kung ano man yung sinabi ng mind mo, na gender mo, yun ang mag-determine din at the same time ng pagkatao mo. So big deal sa kanila dahil pagkatao daw nila ang pinag-uusapan dito. So you're not going to explore anymore what are the benefits of being female. Kung nagkaroon ka ng sex na female, tapos you're capable of childbirth, at dinenay mo yun, okay lang daw. So, man, woman, other, masculine, feminine, gender, non-conforming. There is such a thing as transgender, trans-male, trans-female. There's also such thing as cisgender. Kinaklasify po ng siyensya nila tayo as cisgender kung tayo ina-affirm ko, halimbawa, I'm male in terms of gender identity, I'm male and I'm also a male in terms of my sex organ, then I'm cisgender. Pero pwede raw inventuhin yun kasi meron sila tinatawag na queer. Alam niyo po ba yung queer? Later on po, paliwanag natin kasi pwede ka daw mag-transition from male to female and back and forth. Depending on your gender. And how creative you are in determining your gender. Gender is self-determined, not determined by nature. So mayroong mga doktor na nagsasabi na apart from nature, merong nurture. It is socially constructed. Ibig sabihin, constructed ng isip ng tao kung ano yung gender identity niya. It all boils down now to this doctor, he's a sexologist from 1921 to 2006. Pero 1960s kasi, nung sumikat siya, dahil marami rin siyang mga ginawa na eksperimento, at yung isa ay nag-fail nga, yung experiment niya on the Reimer brothers. Siya unang nag-introduce daw ng mga terminologies according to Wikipedia, na gender role and sexual orientation. Now, what you will call gender role and sexual orientation and everything in between will now be collectively categorized into the term gender or gender identity as opposed to biological sex. So, maaari po na yung development ng ganitong pananaw ay nanggaling pa rin sa mga doktor na katulad niya. Tapos na-identify niya lang na ganito sa paglipas ng panahon. Okay, from the same website. Several states have passed laws that prohibit schools from having gender pronoun policies. At least sa US, may mga schools daw na kahit pa paano right-minded yung mga director and the leaders doon sa mga institutions that ayaw nila na mag-submit doon sa gender pronoun policies. Of course, this is yung protocol na yun, magagaling sa pinakamatataas na institution talaga, UN, UNESCO, and say that schools cannot require teachers to identify students by their self-identified pronouns. Bakit? Bina-violate daw, according to many professors, bina-violate daw ito yung First Amendment. But in the Philippines, you know what? It's quite the opposite. There is no SOGI law yet. But the schools are now requiring teachers to use self-identified pronouns for students. Why is that? Majority, ko alam majority, but based on my experience in my school, at least, it's happening there, and there's no SOGI law yet. And let's be mindful that my school is a government institution. What more kung private institution where yung ng government doon, yung state policy is less daw. And it must free ngayon yung mga administrators to just embrace that kind of system, you know? Kasi kung mas less daw yung coverage ng batas doon. Mas compelled pa nga ng batas. And so my question now, mga kapatid ko sa university, you know, in our last faculty meeting, they are saying that, sir, wala nang SOGI law sa Pilipinas, pero may university policy. My question is, which one supersedes what? The school policy supersedes the constitution of the land. Are you sure? Mas mataas na ngayon yung university policy. Sakala ko ba under ka ng Philippine government? Na constitution, ng Philippine constitution. So, if ever you will apply it on me, I would even say, talk to my lawyer because you are violating the constitution. I'm just exercising my constitutional right. Yun eh. I have issues with that. Not so many professors take this to issue like me. Ako na kasi maboka kasi ako eh. If you don't know the law, sabi ni Pastor Ay, maski na anong legal yan, kung Torah yan, law of the kingdom, or constitutional, you should know your rights. Otherwise, you are not able to fight against those that try to step on your rights if you don't know your rights. So it's important na ulit-ulitin natin yung Torah. Kasi violation din ito, syempre, ng Torah. Supporters of this law say that because the policies require certain speech and prohibit other speech, like our language, they present serious First Amendment issues. First, these policies essentially forbid certain speech on certain content. When you say, God made people, man or woman, huwag gumitin yan sa klase mo, papakulong kita, parang gano'n. For example, they require people to say certain words or not to say, nandoon yung compulsion to speak in a certain way and to avoid certain speech, like the biblical language should now be avoided in favor of their speech, of their language. Yung compulsion na gano'n. This is considered a content-based restriction of speech, which is not only unconstitutional, unjustified. As such, they must pass strict scrutiny to survive First Amendment review. Meron pong isang case, ito yung noong 2021, na favorable yung result niya dahil pinanigan actually ng Circuit Court of Appeals yung professor. Transgender student Jane Doe asked philosophy professor Nicholas Merriweather to call her by her preferred pronouns. I'm not sure kung si Jane Doe is a trans woman, pero she's be called sir daw, siguro, no? So, when the professor declined to do so and later contended that the policy violated his religious belief, paano kung Bible-believing Christian or Messianic ka and you're teaching in a school, lalo na kung public school, and your student compels you to do the same thing that Jane Doe did to her teacher, no? Buti na lang, nung time na yon, medyo nasa right-mindedness pa yung U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, 6th U.S. Circuit, ruled by in Merriweather versus Hartog 2021, the university daw violated Merriweather's First Amendment rights. And it's unjust yung punishment o yung penalty na ibinigay kay Nicholas Merriweather doon. So nanalo yung professor sa ganong instant. Hanggang kailan po mangyayari ito? Hanggang siguro hanggat wala pa yung law, pero pag nandyan na yung law, take note, wala na tayong ganyan. Okay, tulad ng nakita natin sa video kanina, it will not stop at using gender pronouns. Lalo na kung nandyan na yung batas. So, first problem is the gender pronouns compulsion, which is actually a sin against the father. Because why would you call he a she, and a she a he? If the father is saying that, I made you the way you are, then accept it. Now, second problem, especially if the law is already in place. The demand to access and exercise power based on public documents, such as marriage contract, yung sinasabi ni Brother Marvin kanina, na as a pastor, you cannot decline kapag the two males are going to ask you kung nandiyan na yung sogilo, no? That they get married, no? Against your will, against God's will. Sasabihin na pakialam ko dyan sa Bible. May batas tayo eh. Papakulong kita. And third, this is probably most dangerous on women because the women's sector becomes vulnerable. Kaya siguro yung Antichrist, sinabi rin sa Bible po that the Antichrist has no passion for women, sabi doon. No? Either he is gay or he is talagang anti-Torah siya kasi the Torah is pro-women. We've talked about that for so long, di ba? Yeah. Pro-woman yung Torah. Kahit na sa instances ng polygamy, the women actually win. Yeah. Anyway, in many instances, or at least man lang, yung sa minimum noon, the women, lumuman na nagkaroon ng relasyon sa isang binatilyo sa forest, di ba? Kailangan pakasalan, hindi niya pwede i-divorce at magbabayad pa yung binatilyo na yun sa father ng yung mga ganun po, gustong protektahan ng, and then, di ba, yung namatay na kapatid, yung wife niya should be gagawin covering yung brother, yung mga ganun, actually that's very pro-woman. You're just not exploring too much. Well, I'm telling you, my students and my teachers, read your Bible. Para maintindihan nyo na hindi siya sexist. Kung ano-ano kung si paratang ginagawa ninyo. Hindi mo binabasa. Anyway, tapos yung babasahin nyo pa literatura kapag you did not even dig into the origins ng gender ideology. Ako nang gumagawa noon for your sake. Diba? Kaya, hindi kayo mananalo sa akin sa debate. Ganun lang yun. Try challenging me. So, the invasion and use of women's private spaces not limited to comfort rooms, locker rooms. Iba na-witness natin sa Olympics, yung puntalin ka ng isang klaskulado, women's boxing, tapos yung kalaban mo, di ba? Parang testosterone
Kaya pala nanalo kasi lalaki na siya.
So, yung idea ng sports, pasay na yung idea ng categorization sa sports eh. Wala na silang pakialam sa weight, yung ganun. Siyempre mananalo yung muscular na male dun sa track and field. Diba? Wala na yun eh. Destroyed na yung mga categorizations na yun. Anyway, Olympics naman is a Western concept, no? Wala naman tayong ganung mga, dito. Pero, yun pa rin, gusto mong magkaroon ng karangalan yung bansa sa larangan ng sports, wala namang problema sana doon kung susundin mo yung biblical na categorization. Pero hindi nga ganun nagbago na eh. Kasi it's no longer mamaya may magkaroon ng intersex boxing, whatever, no? Invento pa kayo ng bagong mga sports. So, the free selling of hormonal medicine to 11 years old. And teenagers na wala man sa wastong gulang na mag-isip. Nabibili po yan sa local na tindahan, yung hormonal, yung pills na gusto mo maging babae. May homosexual yung 10 years old, 11 years old na. Katulad ng example kanina sa video, bibili siya ng mahal yung pills eh. Ilan yun? 10 piraso bawat araw, tapos 11 pesos kada tableta. Hindi magpa-inject ka na lang kasi 50 pesos na per injection. 2 injection per week. Yung example. Medyo magastos din eh. So, tama po. ang surface problem niya is the pharmaceuticals are going to get money from the population. Again, walang kamuha-muha. That's one purpose. The other purpose is really to destroy Scripture, the Bible, to destroy our faith. Nasaan yung Diyos nyo ngayon, ha? Babaguhin namin ang mundo na to. Hindi sa pangalan ng Diyos nyo, sabihin nila sa atin. That's the because all those economic and population policies so far are obviously anti-Torah and anti-Bible. Okay, the worst problem now that we are facing is that they will, according to their law, will now be able to demand or penalize or even imprison those who don't agree. Of course, you don't agree, right? Because if you agree, you commit to sin. At wag nilang tayong idebate kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng kasalanan. Kasi well prepared tayo, di ba? Mga men. Alam mo kung ano sagutin, di ba? What is sin? Mamaya na tayo mag-usap pagka nandun na tayo. Alam naman natin yan eh. Of course, yes, it's a violation of the law. Transgression. Yung not hitting the mark. Marami pa. Diba? Okay. A few good women. Para lang po ako maliwanagan kasi hindi ako familiar sa lingwahe nila, mga LGBT and gender ideology, I consulted some of the sources. Marami dyan ay na-research ko from constant digging of information. Ang isang whom I like very much na philosophy major daw siya at Juris Doctor, si Abigail Schreier, yung nagsulat ng Irreversible Damage na yun. And that's when I got in contact with gender ideology. Now, Dr. Miriam Grossman, who is an American psychiatrist, ang sabi rin niya is, doon ko rin po nalaman na, sa kanilang dalawa actually, na ang American government part siya ng pag-encourage sa mga bata na magkaroon pa ng worst forms ng gender dysphoria. At pag-encourage na, kasi binibenta po sa mga eskwelahan. Dito, binibenta, mas worse pa nga sa atin kasi binibenta mo sa sari-sari story. Doon sa Amerika, sa eskwelahan, magbibenta sila ng mga testosterone inhibitors, hormonal pills, and then, kapag nag-start na mag-transition yung bata na 10 or 11 years old, isa-subject nila sa isang sexologist or doctor na katulad ni John Money, mga ganun, para ma-further pa yung kanyang transition into trans. If she is supposed to be transgender, no? Imbes na i-correct mo, kasi ang tamang correction doon, through psychiatry and psychotherapy, sabi ni Dr. Grossman, is i-correct mo talaga, i-realign mo siya sa biological characteristic. Kasi gender and biology will be realigned. Hindi nga ganon yung ginagawa. Ang ginagawa is, lihis na napatuloy mo ba palalakihin yung pagkalihis ng batang yun. So, hindi po sila maniniwala na masisira yung pamilya at masisira yung institution. Hindi sila naniniwala doon. Hanggat hindi pa nararating ng Philippine society yung ganon na aspeto, hindi sila maniniwala na sisirain niya yung pamilya. Pero kung titignan mo sa Amerika at sa Canada, the situation is now irreversible damage.